Welcome back. We have now Professor Resch from the University of Stuttgart and the HPC Center Stuttgart here. Please, Professor Resch, let us know your background and what are your activities in the HPC area.
Thank you for having me here for this interview. My background is a mathematical background. I started out as a technical mathematician. And during my studies, I started to focus on computer science on the one hand and on economics on the other hand. But by accident, I was hired by one of my professors at the Technical University of Graz in Austria, who was looking for someone to do simulation in blood flow. So I gradually moved into this simulation part, and the blood flow simulation is highly exciting because it has to do with real human beings, and you work with doctors and everything. And on the other hand, I started to work with supercomputers there. So that was how I was sliding into this field, and then I moved after a while to Stuttgart and started to do high performance computing there, and got a PhD in engineering. So my background is a combination of pretty much everything, with the exception probably of social sciences or digital humanities. But yeah, so I moved into that, and then moving to Stuttgart, you start to work with industry much more. So that's aerospace engineering, that's automotive engineering, but we still keep this medical part in our center because that's sort of a pet project of mine, to work with doctors, which is always exciting.
Please let us know what is the HPC Center Stuttgart about? What are you doing there, and what is the HPC Center Stuttgart then?
The HPC Center at Stuttgart, in German Höchstleistungsrechenzentrum Stuttgart, or HLRS, was created like roughly 25 years ago, late in 95, early in 96, to serve as a national center to provide scientists with access to most recent technology and one of the fastest systems in the world. What we did from the beginning was we said, okay, we have this background of collaboration with industry, so we said we have at least these two parts that are relevant. One is the research part, and the other one is the industrial part. So a big part of our work is supporting industrial customers and selling CPU cycles to them, actually. So what we started to create over time was a platform that allows small and medium-sized enterprises up to very large companies like Porsche to access our systems. And so we didn't call it the cloud like 15 years ago or 20 years ago when we started doing that. Today you would say, oh, well, we started in 97, 98 to have a cloud. Nobody talked about this at the time, but that's where we practically started to work with industry, and that's how we came into this cloud business.
Could you tell us where is it good for? Where could the engineers use the HPC Center Stuttgart, or what is the real benefit for engineers, for example?
There is mainly two types of scenarios where you start thinking about HPC. One is we have these small companies that want to compete in a market that is very innovative. For these small companies, it's difficult to put their hands on a supercomputer because they cannot afford even to buy like 8 nodes or 16 nodes. So what happens there is they approach us, and we work with them, and we see how we can support them. And then for them, it's still an exercise. So it's not a standard procedure, but it's still something that requires some additional work. But from time to time, when they have a customer who says, okay, you're small, and we think you have a lot of expertise, but we would like to see a simulation to verify that your technical suggestions are correct, they come to us and we say, okay, just use the supercomputer. Like, to give you an example, we have this company called Recom, and they're working on the optimization of combustion power plants. This is 8 people. And the customers are large companies like ENBW or Electricité de France or others, supply industries. And what they say is, well, you suggest to optimize our power plant like this, but can you actually show that this is going to work? And that's where they need simulation. So like 4, 5, 6 times a year, they come to us and they do really large scale simulations of power plants for which they actually need a supercomputer. And they could never do this on their PC because it would take years for the simulation to start. And then we have another scenario, which is probably the Porsche scenario. Yeah? There you have hundreds of developers working on simulations. And what they would like to have is access access to a supercomputer that just makes sure that their jobs are running and that within 8 hours they get the answer, or when they go home after work at say 5, 6, 7 p.m. and they come back to the office at 8 o'clock in the morning, the job is done. So there, what we offer is just an invisible resource that just fixes your problems, runs your simulation, and provides you with all the data that you need. So one is very special, talking with these companies, and the other is a standard service that we offer. So where we just have to make sure that these hundreds of engineers just have everything at their fingertip without even thinking about the backbone system and all the things of networking, operating system, and everything like that.
Yeah, thank you very much. That was a good overview, and we are really looking forward to your keynote at the 27th of January at the conference High Performance Computing Home Office. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to that meeting myself. I'm already excited about meeting so many people who have an interest in the topic. Thank you.